Thank you, Excellency Chairman, Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, and Chair of AOSIS, distinguished AOSIS heads and heads of governments and states, fellow SEEDS members and friends. On behalf of my Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, I am pleased to join today's important dialogue and to exchange views in shaping our future as seeds, particularly on common issues of concern and our shared interests. Chair, let me thank you and your team for the excellent leadership and commendable work for our group, particularly in the midst of COVID-19, climate change, and socio-economic challenges that we all faced. I'd like to reflect and thank the President of the General Assembly, particularly for his strong statement of support a while ago, um, and offer some important remarks on behalf of my Prime Minister. Chair, Excellencies, in 2014, we adopted the Samoa Pathway, which clearly takes cognizance of the important Millennium Development Goals at the time and now the key elements of the SDGs. This congruence continues to exist, but the implementation has been lacking. We really need to move along in the implementation of these targets. It's important, therefore, that where it is that a review is warranted, that it must ensure that it takes account of any limiting factors affecting actions and that we collectively deal with those issues. Excellencies, I make a couple of important points in respect to the important themes of this afternoon's dialogue. My Prime Minister will be advocating on Friday in New York the need to continue to recognize that small island states are not the cause of the climate change and its devastating effects, but we face the devastation of these challenges. We need to continue to recognize that on the one hand, we must commit to any targets that we collectively agree to, but also take a balanced approach to ensure that our own development targets are not sacrificed. In that regard, we want to be heard and we should be heard. In COP26, Papua New Guinea will be calling for the implementation of an enhanced level of NDCs and a very clear and ambitious implementation plan. We need to see important commitments in energy reliance. We need to see more commitments in the reduction of forest degradation. We need to see more action on the preservation of biodiversity. And we need to move into actions rather than continue to talk. As members of small island developing states, the more the delay, our people are losing their livelihoods and indeed their lives. PNG will therefore join other small island states to make the call in Glasgow that time is of essence. We expect actions from those who must take leadership and actions commensurate to their level of emissions. We will join others in looking for very clear pathways in accessing climate financing. And it is important that clear guidelines and clear and consistent application of those guidelines are established and adopted to ensure that funds are accessed for mitigation and adaptation. We are looking at a clear indication of the quantum and the direction of financing. On the leaders' declaration that we will adopt at the end of this dialogue, we want to express our support. We acknowledge that the declaration encapsulates the key actions that matters and that it moves our collective interest going forward. And it is important that it recognizes prevailing challenges, but articulates important and achievable targets that can be achieved and reviewed periodically. And I think it's important as well to acknowledge and support the initiative for an important institutional mechanism to be established to manage and take these important initiatives going forward. Uh, Thank you, Chairman.